Hello, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us today on From Physical to Digital, how to start and optimize your online store with Shopventory and BigCommerce. My name is Sean Stacer, and I'm with the Shopventory team, and I will be moderating today's webinar. All of us here at Shopventory are very excited, and as well as BigCommerce, to be here with you today, but let's go over a couple things before we dive in to the topics. On the agenda today, first thing is we're going to go through some bios about our panelists from Shopventory and BigCommerce, and also our special guest who is a customer of both Shopventory and BigCommerce. Next, we're going to dig into how to get your online store started using the BigCommerce platform and some tips on how to maximize your offering. Then we are going to have our guest speaker join us for a bit to talk about his experience with starting and running an online store for his brick and mortar business. After that, we'll discuss what going online means for your business at a high level now that you have this extra sales channel. And finally, we'll have a Q&A session at the very end where we'll take live chat questions from all of you. Please feel free to send in any and all questions as we are going through this webinar. We will have the panelists answer the questions at the very end. You can submit your questions through the chat tool on GoToWebinar. You will see a question section at the bottom right-hand corner of that panel. All right, now it's time to turn over the mic to Dave Carlson so he can introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. Dave Carlson, co-founder, CEO of Shopventory. You don't have to read the entire bio, but I've been with Shopventory for 6 years, and we have become one of the leading platforms to help retailers optimize their inventory real time, syncing across multiple distribution channels. And we're very excited to have BigCommerce now as a part of that platform. People like Joe Frost, who you're going to meet, was asking for this for a long time, and we've been in beta for a while and testing. So now we've launched it. I've also invested in over 100 startups, and one of them being Shopventory. And I also like the company so much, I became the CEO. Prior to that, I spent 12 years with EchoStar the Dish Network, 6 of those in Holland. And also one of the highlights I would say on the bio is that for 8 years, ran the 3rd largest toy website online, allaboardtoys.com. And that was number 3 behind what was eToys at the time and Toys R Us. So have gone from physical to digital as well myself, and really pleased to be with you here today. Let's hand it over to Sachin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to share knowledge about e-commerce and the experience that we, as a company, see our customers go through from physical to digital. My name is Sachin Mudhawan. I'm the Senior Director of Technology Partnerships. I've been with BigCommerce for over 4 years. And my role today is to really help grow our tech partner ecosystem, so we can bring the right solutions and the best of breed solutions to our customers so they can continue to grow on our platform. Looking forward to presenting some of the e-commerce best practices with you. Joe, over to you.
Thank you, Sachin. Dave, I'm pleased to be a part of this and share with fellow retailers or prospective online merchants my experience in integrating Shopventory and BigCommerce. I assure you I am not an actor. The things that I will speak to are my true experiences within the use of these medias, which have been very useful for my brick and mortar business. We are 20 years career retailer, I would say, 2nd generation. My father started our company, Robert Frost Quality. We now have 1 brick and mortar door in Traverse City, Michigan, right on Lake Michigan. And then we have our online presence at www.frostshoes.com, which I'm pleased and proud to have relaunched. I've had 4 different web builds, and I can assure you that in today's scenario with this marriage of Shopventory and BigCommerce, I find a real comfortable and long-lasting home for our online platform. So I'm pleased to have the opportunity to share my real experience with you. We are a purveyor of men's and women's apparel and accessories, of which we sell in our brick and mortar location, and now as well on the internet through Shopventory and BigCommerce.
Thanks, Joe. So I can start from the BigCommerce side and really get into the content a little bit. So what we're really talking about today is how do you grow your business from physical to digital. So my assumption is a lot of you have brick and mortar stores, and you're looking to learn about what does that journey look like when you go from just selling to customers that walk into your doors and your stores to making your products available really to the whole world through online, right? The first thing I want to cover on is 10 steps to e-commerce that most businesses should be thinking about. And there's a lot of content on this topic on our blog, which is bigcommerce.com/blog. There's an article that I got a lot of this content from, which gets into details of the 10 steps to e-commerce. But before we go into that, the quote on the right-hand side really should set the foundation, right? This statistic that shows that the number of digital shoppers actively buying online will reach 282 million in the US alone. And that global trend is projected to make up 22% of retail sales by 2023. So I think we all have experienced what it feels like and how we place orders online, and that trend is continuing to grow. So even your shoppers today, they are purchasing online. They might not just be purchasing from you online, right, today. So let's get into the 10 steps, right? So the first step when you think about starting e-commerce is really around creating a plan, because this really is a net new channel for you, right? There are some nuances to this channel. A lot of the techniques that you have mastered with your brick and mortar store over the time, some of them, many of them will apply to the online world as well, but many of them will be net new, right? So you have to think about and create a plan on what does that new channel will do for your business, and how will you implement it. Of course, to implement that new channel, you need an e-commerce platform. BigCommerce is one of the e-commerce platforms that's available in the market. We believe it's a great platform for businesses that want to grow their presence on e-commerce. What we emphasize on is just like how when you first opened your physical store, you didn't want to rent or buy that space for the short-term investment, right? You really wanted this location to be your location for a long time. You have to think the same way when you think about e-commerce platform is you want to select the technology that's going to stay with you, that's going to help you grow for the long haul. The third thing you want to think about is creating an ongoing budget. Just like your physical store, right? You have metrics and KPIs, which is key performance indicators, on how you measure how your store is doing, right? What do you look at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year to say, did we do great sales, right? Did we achieve our goals? When you create this new e-commerce channel, you have to start thinking about what would those metrics look like for you? What would it make you feel successful that you are venturing into this e-commerce and achieve success a year from opening your online store, right? So thinking about budget and marketing budgets and resources and investments that you would need to grow this net new channel. The fourth step is really exciting one. It's coming up with your new address, right? So this is your domain name. It may just be your businessname.com. Your businessname.com may be taken, right? So I would start doing that research right now on Google and see if your businessname.com is available, or come up with some creative names and URLs that you believe your customers might want to find your business online, right? The fifth one is customizing your brand experience, right? So this translates very well from your physical, right? The way you organize your store. What is the experience for when the new customer walks into the door? What do they see? How they browse through your store? How do they find out how much this product costs? How do they find out about promotions, right? All of that needs to translate to online. The disadvantage here is you're not there watching that visitor or that potential customer and helping them physically, right? But so you have to make it a little bit more self-serve, where the customers can experience your store and be incentivized and motivated to purchase your product while they are on your online store. The sixth one is online product selection, right? So which products are you going to sell online? Are you going to sell everything that you have online? Does it make sense to sell everything that you have in your offline store to online? It may not. It may, right? And this is where really identifying, which products are better suited for online sales. As you grow your e-commerce, you might see that there might be some products that you're only selling online, right? They're not even available for a shopper to walk into the store and get it, right? Or vice versa. So just thinking through that product selection starts to become very important. The seventh one is fulfillment, right? So right now, customer walks in, looks at your products, loves your products, goes to the cashier, pays for the products, and walks out with a shopping bag, right? In the online world, when they place the order, you're going to get the order, and now you need to fulfill that order. So how are you going to ship it? Who will ship it? How long it takes for you to pick, pack, and ship that product? All of those things you got to start thinking about right now. Same with payments, right? So you got to think about how will these shoppers collect, pay for your products. And there are different payment methods that apply online than what might be the most common with just credit card walking into the store. And then once you've identified which products you want to sell, then adding those products, one time and ongoing, and adding that inventory. Remember, it's a net new channel, right? So if you have 100 pants, how many of those 100 pants you want to make available from an online channel is something, again, that Shopventory can actually help you tremendously with. So keeping your inventory synced between your online channel and your brick and mortar store is really important. And the final step, which is the most exciting step, is the same experience you had when you first opened your store. You launched it. You probably had a launch party. You got some friends and family to come in and browse through the store and buy products. That's the same experience when you launch your online store. Test it, make sure everything works, and then you go live from that. All right, Sean, next slide, please. So when you think about your e-commerce journey, I really split that into two phases, right? There's a pre-launch phase and a post-launch phase. Just like your brick and mortar store, if you build it, will they come? Not necessarily, right? You can build an amazing store, you can have amazing products, but you have to then work hard at incentivizing people that are walking by the store, driving by the store, through marketing, through communication, through advertisement. You have to incentivize those shoppers to come buy from you and not from others, right? So the same concepts apply here. What I want to do is actually demonstrate some of these steps, both in pre-launch and post-launch, so you can get a taste of what does that e-commerce experience look like and feel like if you were to go down that path and complement your brick and mortar business with having your online presence. So in pre-launch, right, the way you go about it, the first thing you got to do is start a trial, right? So this is an opportunity for you to, start an e-commerce store in a trial phase. Nobody can access it. Nobody can buy it. This is where you get to play around in it, start adding your branding, some of your products, pretend like you're a shopper, see what that experience looks like. And so this is really you becoming comfortable with e-commerce before you decide that you want to move into e-commerce. Then you select a URL of what you want that store to be. You set up some store basics, right? Some fundamentals that you need to have, like payments and tax setup before you launch your store. Of course, you design your store. So what I always recommend, think about the MVP, minimum viable product. What looks good? And then you launch your store, and you're always thinking about making enhancements, right? So you're always thinking about how can your store and customer experience can be better. And then, of course, you add products. So this is, again, where Shopventory plays a huge part in making sure and fast track you from not having any products in your store, but you have all your products catalog in your point of sale POS system. How do you in bulk import that into your online store so you can be ready for going live? And then the last step in pre-launch is launching your store. Once you launch your store, then the fun part starts, which is Now the orders are starting to flow in, right? How are we going to fulfill those orders? What about shipping and returns? What happens when somebody that placed an order online and they want to return it, or they want a partial return it? What does that experience look like? What about customer service? You know, how are people that are placing orders online? Who do they call? What number they call, etc. What about marketing and discounts, right? Are you many of you have shopped online and you see free shipping, right? What is the target? What is the threshold for your business that says, you know, for our customers, we want to give free shipping after, you know, as long as they purchase over $65, right? So you got to set up some of those things. And then, of course, running reports, right? So ongoing, understanding how this new e-commerce channel working for you, what's working, what's not working, so you can do more of what's working and continuing to grow your business. And then, of course, apps and growth. So this is where, as your business grows from, you know, only doing a couple of $1,000 to $50,000 to $1 million online, you're going to need additional solutions, additional technologies to continue to accommodate that growth. So with that, let's look into some of these things. So I'll do a live demo, and Sean, if you make me a presenter, I should be able to share the screen with the audience. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. Where I am right now in my browser is bigcommerce.com/essentials. Essentials is our solution for businesses that are just starting out. So you can see this link right here, see some information about e-commerce. Now from this webinar, you'll get a link to start if you're interested in BigCommerce, you'll get a link to start your trial and sign up for a BigCommerce store. But this is the same process that link will follow. We're also offering free 3 months of BigCommerce. So that gives you plenty of time to get comfortable with e-commerce, start using your store, start driving some e-commerce revenue before you have to pay for this technology. So what you do to start your trial is very simple. So I'll come up with, I don't know how many tests I've done here, but I'll come up with an email address. This will be your business email address that you want to enter. Then you give it a store name. You create a password that you'll be using to log in. You provide your contact information, decide what size of business you are. And then on the next step, which is the third step, you simply enter some additional information and your trial is created. So within a matter of minutes, you're going to get an email that says, thank you, thank you for starting a trial. This is a link to log into BigCommerce and start playing in your trial, right? So within a couple of minutes, you have the trial, and when you log in, this is the type of interface you will see. So this is actually my personal store, SC Bazaar. I sell apparel with some tech geeky sales engineering stuff on it. So I'm sharing the view of what my experience looks like when I'm logged in. So once you've created a trial, you would log in here. So again, we're in the pre-launch phase. So the first thing we have to do is set up our store, right? So we need to tell BigCommerce, what is my store name? What's my store address? So when the shipment goes out, what is the origin address? What's an email that customer can contact? What's the phone number that they can contact to get support? We need to set up currencies. If you're selling in multiple currencies right now, US dollars may be the only one. You set up your payment methods. Again, all of this is very intuitive, right? So you're not having to write any code. You're simply clicking on things and setting up things for your store, right? So simple things like, do you want to accept credit cards? This is how you do that. Do you want to accept digital wallets, right? This is, again, Amazon Pay, Visa checkout. All of these things are more prevalent because if your shoppers are buying your products online, more than 50% of the times they're using a mobile device, right? That's the industry norm. So that means when they're on the mobile device, do you really want them to type in 16-digit credit card number and then expiration date and all that, right? Many shoppers are now used to using some of these digital wallets. BigCommerce makes it available to you at no cost to make your store to be able to accept payments with those digital wallets, right? So simple things like which of these digital wallets you want to enable, and then going into shipping, right? How are you going to ship your products? What's your shipping origin? Do you only want to ship in US? Even if somebody from international wants to buy your product, you don't want to make it available to them, so you can restrict it. How are you going to print and print labels? So you have USPS integrations here. You have third-party apps like ShipStation that you can use to, again, at your home, at your business, print the label, put it on the box, and get it out to your customers. Taxes, Avalara Avatax is built in. You can do manual tax configurations. Again, all of these things are needed before you can launch your store, right? So very simple, very intuitive setup that you would do to get your store set up. The next thing you would do is design, right? So what is my store going to look like? BigCommerce makes it very easy for you to select from themes. And then once you've selected themes, then again, without you being a developer, you can go in and see what your product looks like in that theme. Theme is nothing more than a template, right? So how your product catalog gets laid out, where does feature product shows up, where does new product show up, all of this is part of a theme. So you don't have to design it. Once you add your products, you'll start to see it, but then very easily you can come in here and say, look, if I want all my text to be in orange, I just come over here and say body font color set to be orange, and I can see before I publish it, I can see exactly what that change would look like, right? So again, very easy for you to design your store and again, continuously enhancing that user experience. Now, the last thing you want to do before you open the doors to online is have products in your store, right? Design is there, store is set up, taxes, orders, you're ready to get the first order, but where are the products, right? So this is where, again, Shopventory comes in. You can go in and manually add products, right, one by one, where, again, put in a name, put in a description, put in price, define which category this product belongs in. Is it pants? Is it shoes? Is it accessories? Define its weight, width, which will be used to calculate shipping, and then add description, right? So you can do all of this manually, upload images, but Shopventory makes it very easy for you to bulk import your products that you're already managing in your POS system. So how do you add Shopventory? You simply go to apps. You see all the apps that are available on BigCommerce. You say, I want to add Shopventory as an app on my store. If you already have Shopventory account, you simply search for Shopventory. There it is. You learn about what it is, how much it costs, and then you simply say, add this app to my store, right? Very simple, very intuitive for you to get started. All right, so you have your design, you have your store set up, you've got products, you are ready to launch, right? This is where you're shifting from pre-launch to now post-launch. So now that store is live, good news, orders are starting to come in, right? So right here, you can manage all your orders. You can see where the order came from. You can, see the fulfillment stages, right? Just like you have with your, actually some of this you may not have in your brick and mortar store because shopper walks in, buys a product and walks out, right? But in the online world, there's different stages that this order is going to go through, right? So you can manage all of that right here when you're shipping your product and you want to add tracking ID for the FedEx or whatever shipping method you chose, you can just enter that here. So your shopper will instantly get an email saying your order is on the way. Click here to now track it, right? In addition to that, you can also start looking at some of the marketing, right? So this is where, again, it's very easy for you to experiment with some of these online, such as, actually, I wanted to show promotions, right? So we talked about, let's do a $65 free shipping, right? So this is how easy it is for you to set up. You say free shipping, you select shipping discount, you say, I want to apply this to if the total amount of the order is over $65 in the US only, and that's it. So that's all you have to do to now, any order that is over $65, the shipping cost will be waived, right? So again, I'm giving you a very, very high level view of how intuitive and how easy it is for you to use e-commerce. You don't have to be fearful of it. It is, platforms like BigCommerce are designed for businesses and users that are non-technical in nature. And we make it intuitive so you can really get the most benefit from running your store online. And the last thing I'll show here is you can do some analysis, see what's happening with your online store, what's your average revenue, what's your average conversion rate, how many carts are being abandoned, what are your top selling products. again, all of that information is available here. So again, this was really designed to be a very, very high level view of what that journey looks like. And with that, I will pass it back to Sean to go through the rest of the slides. All right, so what we have talked about so far was what your experience would be like, right? Completely understand that you have a business to run. You may not have resources, you may not have time, or there may be an urgency where, yes, you could do all of this setup yourself, but you need somebody else's help to get you up and running even faster, right? So there are a couple of options here. BigCommerce offers our own launch services, launch packages, as you can see on the screen on the left-hand side. And then we also have an ecosystem of over 4,000 agency partners. Some may be local in your regions, if you wanted to have that local connection. But either way, you can look up those partners on bigcommerce.com/partners and search for those agencies, or you can contact us if you want to use our launch services, or if you have the resources and time available, you can certainly do it yourself. All right, on the next slide. So I've talked a lot about BigCommerce. Just to give you some context on what is BigCommerce. We're an e-commerce platform. We've been around since 2009. We have over 750 employees all across the US. You can see on the map, our headquarters are in Austin, Texas. We have over 68,000 merchants just like you that rely on BigCommerce to run and grow their e-commerce channel. We serve customers in over 120 countries. We support multi-currency, multi-language. And as you can see, over 25 billion plus dollars in transaction goes through our platform every year. And next slide, Sean, is our mission is to help you sell more at every stage of growth. Either you're just starting out or you are wanting to grow and double and triple your online experience. We're built for growth. We offer powerful performance. And most importantly, we offer lower total cost of ownership. So you can start generating e-commerce revenue that essentially pays for your cost of e-commerce technology. All right, with that, Joe, I'll pass it on to you to share your experience so far with both of our technologies. Joe, I think you're on mute.
Forgive me. But we're retailers, so far be it for us not to make a couple mistakes technologically. But back to my point, grateful to be able to share with you my experience of this process. Again, family business, had a few experiences with online development in the past, Counterpoint Online. I used Clover Online. My POS is Clover. And so Clover dissolved their online solution in April. And as a result, I was put to pasture, kind of floundering around, realizing the importance of having an online presence. I think it's as important, if not more so, than the business cards that we all printed when we decided to go into business. I looked to other options available to us through the Clover applications. I actually tried Ecwid out, and I did not care for that platform, that application. I wasn't getting real-time support. And so at that point, I pivoted into BigCommerce. And it was in January that I spoke to the people at Shopventory about integrating. And then I finally had at my fingertips a real-time solution. And when I say that, it was a big concern for me in that if I sold that product in my storefront, I needed to be sure that it was removed from my online storefront in real time to avoid any unnecessary complications, buyers buying something on my online platform that I had just recently sold in the storefront. I needed something that was fluid. And I can speak to Shopventory being just that as it relates to the BigCommerce platform. I am now afforded the opportunity in my Shopventory dashboard to pull up all the products that I had pulled over from my Clover POS and input photographs of the product, input long descriptions of the product. Obviously, my quantities are all already in place that I pulled over from Clover. And then literally within the click of the button with, again, your product imagery in place in Shopventory, your long description that you'd like to have shown on your website platform, you enable it to a BigCommerce channel. And it's as simple as that. I can literally take a product that I receive, box cut the top open, check my inventory into Shopventory, plot a couple of images in specific to that item, and then within 5 minutes, I'm live with that item on my website. So the functionality of this particular setup with this integration has been honestly the best that I've had in my previous web builds. And it's been a crucial part of my business. And it's something that I intend to focus on even more so now, and being grateful to have been given the chance to speak to this with the people at Shopventory and BigCommerce. So I assure you, it is not with the technological background that I came into this. I've had some experience building websites, but it is really seamless and something that I could speak to folks who may not have that background being able to do with relative ease. And with that, I'll pass it off to Dave.
Joe, real quick, before we move on to some of the Shopventory slides, there's some difficult times going on right now. How important has it been for you to at least have your toe in the water and moving forward with e-commerce?
I'm grateful to respond to that. I have a storefront here in northern Michigan, and we've had an executive order passed, and so many states have, that we are not essential, and so we have had to close our front door. And it is in times like these that you can't forecast that I find the most comfort in knowing that I made some necessary measures that I deem necessary in a digital world to get ahead of this, to at least have a presence, at least have an option to do business. So many of us retailers, speaking to the attendees, may have been confronted with this, and maybe this webinar is your call to action. Maybe this is where you're going to jump in. And for me, I'm grateful to have had these conversations with your folks at Shopventory in advance of this happening. I take great pride in having an online presence, and it's been a big part and will continue to be even more of a focal point for me going forward.
Thanks, Joe. Really appreciate that. Let's jump to the next slide, Sean. So Shopventory was established to help small to medium-sized businesses optimize their inventory real time, so you know what you have too much of, not enough of, what you're making money on, what you're not making money on, where you have dead inventory so that you can move that, turn it into cash. We have found that cash is king in any business, and Shopventory helps you avoid stockouts, letting you know where to be setting your appropriate stock levels. You can set reserve, minimum, and maximum stock levels, in other words, par levels. This dead stock issue is very real, so that you can make sure that you don't have something that's basically sucking cash out of your bank account, sitting in a corner of a warehouse or in the corner of a store, and you're not aware of that. Next slide. So just to put this in perspective, these numbers are massive. Out of stocks are $642 billion each year. And what this basically means is that a consumer walks in, asks for a product, it's not there, they have to go to another store, or often they're just going to go online and get it if they can't get it right away at your store. $634 billion are returned each year. Overstocks are $642 billion. That's a lot of B's. And what Shopventory does is it helps eliminate your out of stocks, processes your return so you can decide whether you automatically want to put it back in inventory, or if you have manual intervention, deciding whether or not it can be sold as new. And then overstocks, once again, identifying the product that you need to move out, need to turn to cash, and you should not be reordering again. Next slide. So it's time to be ready to scale. We're having a little bit of a business slowdown right now, so it's a great opportunity to take a look at your systems so that when business does come back, and it will, it's just a matter of when, you'll be ready to handle it. Spreadsheets and Post-it notes only get you so far. You should use a system that connects to your brick and mortar and to your online store or to any other outlets that you may have. Shopventory has customers that have multiple brick and mortar locations. They have a warehouse location. They have several e-commerce websites, and they also have carts that are going along a boardwalk selling items at a beachfront. So that one store alone ends up having about 20 some entities that we are moving product back and forth across, so you can actually see what channels are working for you, what's not, and what's selling where, at what location, and what timing. It's important to be able to forecast seasonality, also anticipating downturns when you know that there's going to be from a seasonality standpoint, your system is not, your seasonality, what your business isn't attractive at that particular time of year. We work with a number of companies like that. So really important to be able to look at your top identifying selling products so that you make sure, it's the old 80-20 rule, that there are certain products you should never run out of for any reason. And if you do run out of those, there's a negative impact across the rest of your organization, because if people can't get that, then they walk out and go get it somewhere else, along with the other products that they would have bought from your store. Discount slow moving products to get them off the shelf. We already mentioned that already. So once again, Shopventory is helping manage your cash flow here appropriately, so your cash is not caught up into the stock on your floor of your retail outlet or in your warehouse. And then also we manage cost of goods sold per lot or per batch of product. And people can enter default costs if they want to in Shopventory, but we highly recommend our mode that we prefer is that you actually do lot costs. So every single item that comes in, or every batch of that shipment, is assigned its own individual cost. And then that moves through the system, first in, first out, so that you can actually see the real cost of your product, and then more importantly, the actual real margin, your profit, gross profit margin per item. And then this helps you also negotiate with your vendors. You're looking at, wow, this is interesting. The cost of this particular item keeps going up $1 every single month over the last several months. I need to make a phone call here and not allow that to happen, or renegotiate terms like free shipping, things like that. Next slide. So your products can help sell each other. We mentioned this a little bit already, but look at what your complete ticket, when somebody walks out, and see what else is selling. And then you can start to put and position items in a store that will also support that. Some people may be walking all over the store to get 2 or 3 or 4 different things that they want to get constantly. Get those items close together so that they move quickly and it's easy for your customers to grab them. It also helps you predict future customer purchases when you get to see how things are bundled and you're looking at an analysis of what people are buying. Once again, we show per location, per van if you're using vans, per cart like I mentioned, and then items that are shipping out of your warehouse for e-commerce. And you can look per channel where you're having success and where not, and analyze that, but also look in the aggregate for your entire business. And don't run out of complementary products. We see this happen a lot where people are doing buy one, get one free, or something where you're giving away a free item, but then you run out of stock of that and people come in and are disappointed. We'll help you manage that as well. Next slide. So we want to be very intentional. Shopventory wants to help you run a healthy business and be intentional about delighting your customers. And as a little side note right now, I can't recommend enough that you be on some form of e-commerce platform and get out there and get the word out via email, for example, to your existing customer base that you're online now, and then ask them to help you find other customers no matter where they are now in the country or the world. But I'm talking to a lot of local businesses all the time, and just even my friends, they want to buy local. They know that the local businesses need help as much as possible. So we're here for you, and BigCommerce as well. We want to help you make this transition if you haven't already, or leverage this if you already have got your foot in the water and you're moving forward. So how does your customer feel after they purchase from you? Does the packaging make them feel appreciated? Once again, this is the bag you're putting it in. This is, the packaging if you're shipping out for e-commerce, and leave a note for your customer thanking them for their business. I ordered some coffee online recently from a store, Kaladi Coffee in Denver, Colorado. And they wrote a personal note on there because they could see that I'd ordered from the past, and they were like, thank you for your support and thank you very much for this order. We really appreciate it. So that goes a long way, just written right there on the invoice by hand. It was very nice. And then also offering a discount for repeat business. Hey, come back in the next 30 days, 10% discount, these types of things. Providing a free sample goes a long way. Once again, buy one, get one free as well. And do customer shout outs on social media. Get your customers to support you. And also, if you're not marketing on social media right now, especially when you go to e-commerce, you can control social media campaigns locally, but with e-commerce, you can obviously go a lot broader. Next slide. Okay, we're here. Time for questions and answers. Sean.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Really good conversation here. We have lots of questions that have come in, so I'm going to try to go through these as quick as possible. First one, Joe, this is actually going to be, I think, a good question for you. We have someone that's asking, does it being BigCommerce integrate with Clover, or am I getting a second credit card processor? Or a secondary credit card processor?
Sure, great question. Definitely, you want to have that in place because you want the monies. It directly integrates with your payment gateway and really flawlessly and seamlessly and easily. So that is a quick and easy response to what could be a cumbersome question going into it, but it is seamless, integrates directly with your Clover POS. The monies literally drop in as an order in Clover. You'll see it in your Clover daily reports as well as in your BigCommerce dashboard. Exactly the same.
Great, thanks. And just to confirm, you are using the Clover point of sale, right? I think you mentioned that earlier.
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. All right, next question. Sachin, I think this is gonna be a good one for you. There's a couple questions around Shopify. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between Shopify and BigCommerce? They're specifically citing they pay about $80 to $90 a month for Shopify, and they wanna know more about BigCommerce and what the differences are.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are actually a lot of similarities between Shopify and BigCommerce. We're both SaaS-based e-com platforms. What that means is you don't have to install anything. You access the technology through a browser. Both are very intuitive to use. Both are good platforms. Where the differences come in is what differentiates us a lot is giving you the freedom of choice of what technologies you want to use. And Joe just talked about Clover POS. You're not restricted or penalized on using Shopify's POS or Shopify's payment gateway to process manage your e-commerce. So there's a lot more choices there, and the flexibility and the freedom. There are for businesses that are starting to grow on e-commerce, you'll see that traditionally you would need more apps, more third-party solutions to achieve the same functionality that you can do in BigCommerce, because we offer more native capabilities in our platform. And then the third one I would say is really built for growth, right? And again, if you're just starting out, you may not see the difference in how the store performs, how APIs perform, how your e-commerce integrates to like an ERP. But especially businesses that are established businesses online, they start to see that difference between Shopify's and BigCommerce experience. So those are just some of the highlights. Hopefully that answered your question. I think from a pricing standpoint, our retail pricing is very, very comparable and competitive. So you can look up our pricing on BigCommerce.com as well and price compare. But as I mentioned earlier, we do have an offer right now of 3 months free for anybody that chooses BigCommerce and Shopventory.
Great, thanks, Sachin. Hey, Dave, got a question for you. So we are looking for, can Shopventory integrate with Square point of sale and BigCommerce? We talked about Clover. Can we do Square?
Absolutely. Once again, same experience, seamless. If you have your catalog in Square and you're using Shopventory, then you have all of your items in Shopventory and even more information, for example, in Shopventory that's in Square. And you can seamlessly then push things over from Shopventory into BigCommerce and get started. I know in the past that Square and Clover both have worked on different direct integrations from the Square side or from the Clover side. And there have been some hiccups, to put it mildly, in the past with some of those integrations. And we're proud and pleased that we listen to our customers. We listened to Joe, for example, and we created a list of people who kept asking for BigCommerce. And so, sorry, Sachin, it took us about 6 months to get to it, but we got to it. You're launched live, and we have had people on beta since January, making sure everything's been working smoothly. So this is not some quick thing that we threw together. What I want to explain about the integration real quick is it's super detailed. Everything that you can do in BigCommerce, right, you can do without not the promotional part, right, in the website design. But when it comes to items and SKUs, you can do it all in Shopventory as well. This is a deep integration. This is just not pushing ones and twos back and forth when something is decremented or sold. This is actually the ability to manage your product intelligently via the Shopventory platform. So yes, Square, Clover, others as well, but we'll leave it at that for now.
Great, thanks,
John.
Dave. And we have a ton of questions coming in. This is great, so keep them on coming. Joe, have another question for you real quick. Do you have plans to add the Facebook pixel to your website and take advantage of advanced social media targeting in the future?
Oh, you're on mute, Joe.
Trying to be sensitive to any background noise. This is something that has come up in having been asked to be a part of this panel. And so the response is yes. Grateful to be given this opportunity because it has given me the chance to meet Sachin now personally, and he and I are going to discuss that marketing plan. And I know that the people at BigCommerce are always so quick in the experience that I've had in asking them questions as to how you might go about it. And so I'm not currently, but my intent, and I believe that was something that Sachin and I were discussing is before we launched this webinar. So not currently, but intending to.
And again, I would say if you are a BigCommerce customer or when you are a BigCommerce customer, our support is available 24/7, both through online, phone, chat as well. Questions like that can be managed through customer support.
Great, thanks, guys. Question for you, Sachin, about, looks like it's about shipping. So I'm just gonna read it as written. I have had the biggest issue with finding a suitable shipping company with our rural location. Do you have any recommendations for Canadians who have this issue? And how do you balance passing on that cost to the consumer or absorbing the cost yourself? So this could be Sachin, it could be Dave, it could be a blend.
Yeah, I can answer at a high level. We may need to follow up on further details. I'm not super familiar with Canadian shipping requirements, but the fact that we have 68,000 customers in 120 different countries successfully managing and growing their e-com platform, there are options available. There are solutions available. I just don't know top of my mind which one. So if I may take that as a follow up. And get back to you, and Sean, we can run that through you.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone that's asking, there is one question. We are recording this. We will post it online afterwards. And then for any questions that we are not able to get to, we will make sure to follow up afterwards as well. Dave, did you have anything to add to that question about how to pass the costs on?
Yeah, just you saw when Sachin was showing that you could set a free shipping level, for example. You know, the math there is, you know, you need to look at what your gross margins are per product, and you know, basically on the average, you may lose a little money on freight at times, you may make a little money on freight at times, and then you have to include that variable into when you get to a free freight threshold, like if it was $65 or $50 or whatever it is. It's like, okay, you know, it does my margin support shipping a $150 order for free. If it's a super heavy item, then it may, you know, you're going to take a little bit of a hit there on your margin, right? But you should include the freight cost in some of this analysis with your overall margin to make sure you come out with an average. That my philosophy in running e-commerce platforms has always been, don't lose money on freight, just on the average, right? There's going to be certain orders you do, okay? But on, you know, you're going to make some and you're going to lose some in different situations. You know, you don't want to be ridiculous with charging, you know, $25 for a $35 order. That's just, you know, people aren't going to buy from you, right? But you got to figure that out. Each case is so unique. I'd love to follow up with the individual asking the question. I'm happy to give some examples.
Yeah, I would add. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw in there, and I'm shipping internationally, and what I use, and there's several other avenues, is ShipStation, which really easily integrates with BigCommerce and directly pulls over the order. All the information is within that. And I just shipped a jacket to Canada the other day. It cost me roughly $17, and I decided on a $20 flat rate international fee, which touches on what Dave suggested. You know, I'm shipping internationally. I'm going to win some, I'm going to lose some there, but at $20 US, it's a pretty even threshold.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One thing I would say on that point is one of the biggest dropouts we see in e-commerce checkout is when shoppers have browsed through your catalog, they get to the checkout page, and they see a big shipping cost. Obviously, Amazon has spoiled all of us, right, in like free shipping. So I think just be mindful. You can actually apply free shipping to certain products, certain categories of products, right? So it doesn't have to be store-wide. But this is something customers, online consumers look for. And when they have to pay a big shipping fee, they might just get out of your site and go see if they can buy the same product, probably pay more somewhere else and not pay shipping, right? So just be mindful of that.
Great, thanks. Some more questions. So Dave, got a couple roadmap questions here for you for Shopventory. So I'm gonna give you two. Will Shopventory be launching any marketplace integrations such as Amazon, Walmart, or eBay? And then the next roadmap question is asking about return to vendor and then also API integrations for imports and uploads from another platform.
So yes, yes, and yes. It's only a matter of time and money, right? Manpower. But yes, it's on our roadmap. You will see some of this type of activity in the latter part of this year, primarily around third quarter, so that people can be ready for this for fourth quarter sales, and trusting that all will be good and healthy at that point in time for everybody. And so yes, on the different channels that you mentioned, and also we do have our own API that we're planning to make public on a as requested basis, where people will be able to you know, even faster push items in and out of Shopventory.
On the first one, Dave, I may add is that BigCommerce itself allows our customers at no cost to you to publish and list your products in those channels, especially Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Instagram, right? Depending on if you want your products to be shoppable in those marketplaces as well as social channels. So there's no cost to you to list. You can manage all your orders that are coming from channels all within BigCommerce. And once they're in BigCommerce, they'll flow back into Shopventory and the POS, right?
Exactly. Thanks for mentioning
so that's yeah.
Good short-term solution. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So for the sake of time, I think we're going to do one more question, and I know we have a couple closing slides after that. So I think this could be a good question for everyone. So whoever wants to take it first, and everybody will chime in. What is the best way to drive traffic to your site?
My opinion, real quick, is if you have an email list, use it, leverage it appropriately. Don't spam people to death. But you do want contact information, you know, about your current customers, and make sure that there's a nice smooth rhythm. If they understand every single week that they're going to get an email with you with a nice little promotion, that's the kind of thing people are not going to mark as spam, and they're not going to delete. They'll let it hang in there, and then all of a sudden go, oh yeah, I could go back over there and buy this.
Yeah, I would add it is a loaded question, because I think every business has to kind of figure out, what works for their audience and region, and if you have niche products. I agree. I think email, is still alive, right? All of us still read emails. We still respond to emails. But on top of that, there are a lot of kind of best practices around how do you get the word out through social, through blogs, just creating awareness. I think many consumers, including all of us, when we shop online, right, we don't have the luxury of feeling and touching the product. So we look at reviews, we look at, we do a little bit of more research in seeing other people wear that product, or seeing, customer reviews and customer photos. That kind of helps us make that decision of buying your product or not. So again, like, the more of that experience you can bring online, and I love what Dave said, word of mouth is really, really important in online, right? It's very easy for me to buy a product, and if you gave me a link that I can simply click on and post it on my Facebook saying, just got this awesome jacket, check it out. I mean, that's the biggest advocacy that I can do for the store that I purchase from.
Yeah, and from a retail perspective, the one audience that we need I have a resort community that I do business in Traverse City. We see a growth from 80,000 in this county to 350 in the summertime. And those customers have now come to know me, and there's a certain level of trust that's built. And so we are actively getting people's information in a way that I had to deliberate and talk with my employees, was comfortable for the consumer and for me, with, again, like Dave touched, the understanding that we'd like to communicate with you. We feel that you enjoy our products. You may have come to trust us through multiple purchases in our door. Please give us that opportunity on the internet. Obviously, there's a big amount of the market share that has been eaten up, but we do have we have an audience that comes into our businesses, and these are the most important people for me, in my perspective, to continue to communicate with, whether it's through social or email. So we do give them a percentage discount at the wrap counter in order to get that email address, with the understanding that we're going to carefully inform you about products and promotions through email. So that's my most powerful marketing tool. And then we try to be active on social, and I'd like to see that integration built through my BigCommerce platform as well. So
great, thanks everyone. I think that definitely wraps around to what we were talking about earlier with intentionally delighting all of our customers. So we just have the last couple slides. So Sachin and then Dave are going to talk about BigCommerce and then Shopventory, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, just real quick. So as I mentioned already, we are committed to your success. We are offering 3 months free. So when you get you'll get a link in the follow-up email. When you click on that link and start your trial, your first 3 months of BigCommerce retail plan will be waived.
Great, and Shopventory offers a 30-day free trial. We have a 60-day, we normally have a 30-day money back guarantee, but we've extended it to 60 days just to give people the comfort and the confidence to know that they've got basically 90 days at no risk. Our plans start as low as $49, move up into the thousands of dollar ranges. Our standard and professional plans are the most popular. And once again, it's very easy. You can go to shopventory.com /pricing and see this slide right here. And it's very easy to sign up for the free trial. And everything seamlessly is brought over from your POS system. And for example, if you were only in BigCommerce and you had a catalog there and you want to use Shopventory and then eventually add a new or different POS system, let's just say that works as well. So we right now are helping people that are on the starter plan with some additional features and some different promotions. And you can find that information on our website. That's specifically addressing some of the things that are currently going on with the economy. So we want to try to be as helpful as possible. And by the way, reach out to our customer care team. And just like BigCommerce, Sachin was mentioning, if you look at our reviews online, we have great reviews. Our customer care team is outstanding. And so we really appreciate all of their work, and we appreciate this opportunity to have been together with BigCommerce to do this webinar. They've been a great partner as we've rolled everything out and gone live with them. So thanks a lot, Sachin, for joining us. Thanks, Joe. I know you just dropped off a little bit video-wise, but there he is. All right. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this with you. Great job, and we'll look forward to following up with everybody that wrote in any questions that we didn't get to. We'll get to you. Thanks a lot, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All the best.